why doesn't the FBI disclose to the American people all of the investigative detail and evidence that you are gathering as it is gathered?
Well, we have tried to be transparent with both Congress and the American people as we're going along in the investigation, frankly, unusually so for an ongoing investigation, given the sheer nature of it.
Wow. I've been blown away by the transparency. I wonder if Julie's been blown away by it. Joining me now, my younger sister, the great Julie Kelly. Her Substack Declassified is top notch. Julie, okay, for those of us who didn't catch that lion snake today, was he being transparent? What happened today?
By the way, happy belated birthday to my much older brother. I did tweet that at you the other day. Aren't we so lucky to have Chris Wray being so transparent with us about the near assassination of former President Trump? We really owe him a debt of gratitude. So what did Chrsitopher Wray do today? Well, number one, Jesse, Chris Wray was not on any sort of hot seat today, and he knew it. And look, compared to the performance that we saw by Kim Cheadle on Monday, you could have a stick in front of the House Judiciary Committee that would seem more forthcoming, more honest, have more integrity than what we saw from the now resigned Secret Service director on Monday. So Chris Wray, despite his claims of transparency, I mean, he did give us some basic details that they found 8 cartridges, he said, which I think he might have meant shell casings, that the suspect, the now deceased gunman, Thomas Crooks, visited that site 3 times, including twice on July 13th, flew a drone around the vicinity at about 3:50 and 4 o'clock that day, live streamed it. And so those were some of the details that he disclosed. Also, that there were explosive devices found in his vehicle, also at his home, and that he had a receiver on his body. It was shut off. So there was no way he could detonate those explosive devices that Chrsitopher Wray said were rudimentary. Well, you know, we've heard that too before, Jesse, the J6 pipe bombs. So we did get a little bit of information, but most of it, of course, he pivoted to the Secret Service, which is true. That is the agency responsible for protecting the former president. But we do not expect anything like a full, fair, impartial, thorough investigation from this hopelessly corrupt FBI led by hopelessly corrupt Chrsitopher Wray.
Julie, one thing that did hit me as I was combing through a lot of this garbage today was while he wasn't that forthcoming, he was a lot more forthcoming than he has been in prior instances. What do you make of that?
Well, again, I think that he wanted to portray that he is trying to be as transparent and honest with the American people as he can. So I will say, and you are correct, Jesse, given Chrsitopher Wray's past performances, this comes across as perhaps his best. So I hate to compliment Chris Wray in any way, but he definitely came across at least that he wants to be a partner with Congress, with DHS and others to get to the bottom of what happened. So I do think that he sort of conducted himself well. Now, but pivoting to other issues, if we go back to January 6th or other corrupt elements of the FBI, he became his old defiant, indignant, closed up self. And so he did not answer questions about CHSs on January 6th. He wouldn't answer questions about who built the gallows. He said he really didn't even see that when Representative Tom Massey brought that up. So let's not allow his performance today, where he did come across better than usual, to deceive the American people that the FBI is going to conduct a fair investigation. And I really hope Congress holds his feet to the fire in what he's saying about being transparent. This cannot be the last we hear from Chrsitopher Wray until whatever report is released on what happened on July 13th.
I want to talk about Kim Cheadle for a moment. Obviously, you brought her up. She's resigned since then, and it's not as if you or I are shocked when we watch these officials sit in front of Congress and get real close-lipped. This has been the hallmark of these dirty commies for a while, but she was almost bizarrely so, almost flippant. What did you make? It was odd, even for these dirty commies. I felt like her testimony on Monday was odd, and really it fueled a lot of the conspiracy theory fire that's out there now. It was so odd.
It was, I think I wrote to my Substackers that it sort of made my skin crawl at certain points, Jesse. Unfortunately, this woman represents the real crisis in American government right now, and that is unaccountable, unrepentant, heartless, bloodless individuals like Kim Cheadle. She expressed no emotion about what happened on July 13th, except when she, again, like Chris Wray, became indignant about the integrity of her office, and the buck stops with her and she takes full responsibility. She expressed no emotion about what happened to Donald Trump and his family, or to the family of Chrsitopher, or the other two who are injured, or the millions of people who have been traumatized by this. So she really, Jesse, represents what we've been talking about, you and I, for years. And that is the real people who run our government are really deranged individuals like Kim Cheadle. And that is a crisis that we know the Republicans have allowed. In fact, they have fostered individuals and officials like Kim Cheadle by holding no one responsible. So you go from a Lois Lerner to a Jim Comey to an Anthony Fauci to a Kim Cheadle, who can't even express a little human emotion at the thought that a former president and the front runner for the 2024 presidential election, that his head was almost blown off in broad daylight before the entire world. She feels no remorse about that whatsoever.
Julie, I thought how the Democrats handled today's hearing with Chrsitopher Wray was pretty revealing. Here was this little doozy.
When I applied to be an assistant U.S. attorney, I had to go through a background check. Do candidates for the FBI have to go through background checks?
Yes.
Would someone with dozens of felony convictions survive a background check for the Bureau?
No.
So they would never be hired by the Bureau?
No.
Well, clearly the Bureau has, you don't have to comment on this, I know you won't, but clearly the Bureau has higher standards for their hiring than one of America's great political parties.
Imagine what could have happened if we had spent these thousands of hours of staff time and those millions of taxpayer dollars addressing even one aspect of the political violence that now threatens our country. Perhaps had this Republican majority lifted a finger to help a nation that is awash in guns, the assassin in Butler would not have had such easy access to the weapon he used to fire on that crowd.
Julie, it's all about power for these people, isn't it? Nothing, there is no country. There is nothing else. It's just power.
Right. Adam Schiff, we believe, first of all, you are the last person who should be talking about integrity or background checks. Let's do a background check on you right now. Furthermore, the idea that FBI officials and agents are above reproach. This agency has been run by criminals for the better part of a decade. Anytime any of them are busted with illegal conduct, the DOJ refuses to charge them. So how would we have FBI agents or prospective ones who can't pass a background check because they are immune from any sort of prosecution, regardless of their criminal behavior? But yes, everything is about politics to these people. Again, people like Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler expressing no remorse or regret over what happened. Adam Schiff beginning his statement going directly to the lawfare against Donald Trump. Those are the sort of people, unfortunately, that we have to share this country with, but also have great power. And God forbid that they get control of the House or again, because we will see this escalate to a dangerous level. And speaking of political violence, it turned very violent today in advance of the speech of Benjamin Netanyahu, police having to deploy tear gas and other measures against demonstrators on the Democrat side, by the way, who became violent against police early on.